Hey guys, if you've been following my crypto videos over the last 3 years, which have been rare of late, I will only make a video if I have something important to say, unlike these daily exclamation mark videos. Well, we've been doing very well over the last few months, and I think it's time to talk about what I think is now going to happen. I've had a pretty good run with predictions. Let's talk about the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, my strategy that I shared 2 years ago, which is still absolutely on track. Amazingly enough, surprises me even. And which, if you followed, you should be doing very, very well on. And what I think will happen to the crypto market, the blockchain market, all that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome to this update video. I haven't done one in a long time. As I said, I'm not going to spam you with daily videos talking crap. I will do a video when there's something important to say. Now, many of you who have been following my channel for many years, a couple of years, know that I started a journey on the 4th of Jan 2020. And if you've been waiting patiently, the last update I did in terms of this was just before Christmas, so it's been about 5 months. I mean, look at the difference in price. Bitcoin more than double, and Ethereum, we'll talk about that in a minute. The news is all good, but what if you hadn't started? What do I think is going to happen next? I'm going to cover a few things. So I'm first going to cover some of the recent news, which I predicted. Another prediction I got right was that the global currency thing with Iran, yes, but I made this video called Bitcoin the fight starts now 4 months ago, saying the real fight starts in 2021. 100% correct. You're starting to see this in the mainstream media. We'll talk about that very quickly, and then after I've discussed that, I will give you my update on Ethereum, Bitcoin, here's my italic there, and what I think is going to happen. There's a slight change of tact due to some events. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be very interesting. It's still the best investment to get more Bitcoin. If you've been on this journey, you're going to be doing very well already, especially since we just hit 0.05, which is a milestone. But I think it's a milestone where you should take some profit now. Compared to where we started our journey. Long story short, your $1,300, if you invested on the 4th of Jan 2020 in buying 10 Ether, would now be worth $29,000. Okay, and you can take that and trade it for half a Bitcoin. So you're going to get half a Bitcoin, spending $1,300. Now 0.1 was our target, right? Not 0.05. But if you use my equation, we don't have to get into that. I know you guys say that's boring. You're getting half a Bitcoin for $1,330, which means you're getting Bitcoin for $2,600, and that's exactly what this I said would happen. This massive idea. Everybody laughed at me. Nobody's laughing now. I was right. And it's not good to gloat, but come on, I was right on this. I was right on the prediction that Ethereum Bitcoin, the low was 0.165, which is actually in late 2019. They said that this was going to zero. People said Ethereum was going to zero. So I'll talk about that. But first, let's just spend 5 or 10 minutes max talking about the attacks on Bitcoin. There's a few things you need to know, which is very important. So what's happened since the end of 2020 has really even surprised some of us who even predicted it, right? Remember, the theme I had in the second half of 2020 in all my videos is that you've got 6 months left. Unfortunately, not a lot of people listen. That's my experience, even in real life when I told people. So you just got 6 months left. You will never get Bitcoin for $9,000. Remember how long it bounced between 6,000 and 9,000.
At one stage in 2020, when it hit 12,000, we were celebrating. But we didn't know when it would even get to 20,000 again. That's just how it was. And I kept saying, people, you've got just a very short amount of time. The second half of 2020, that prediction was 100% spot on. You're never going to see that again. And it was really the halving event and a guy called Michael Saylor. Let's just be honest, right? A guy called Michael Saylor, that was an institution, a CEO of a large company that took this bet and became an evangelist. And I mean, he's going to go down in history. Michael Saylor will go down in history. Um, there's no doubt about that. So I think that's just given us so much of momentum that the $100,000 target that was, almost unthinkable, but we were so hopeful of for so many years. It's unbelievable to say this, but it's starting to look low, right? And we see strength and innovation in the rest of the blockchain market. We see so many new types of change coming along that can do fantastic things. Um, and the big two or three, Bitcoin, Ethereum, really, really looking strong. And that will continue. But remember the video I made a few months ago when we passed 20, saying you're all jumping up and down regarding price, but the attacks are going to step up. Let's talk about the attacks. I haven't changed my mind on that. That prediction has come true, and actually worse than I feared. It's going to be a bumpy ride for the next 12 months. Hope less, but at least 12 months. Let's talk about that. The attacks on Bitcoin will increase in 2021. As I predicted in January, I launched a video saying, Bitcoin, the fight starts now. The point of that video is that while people were celebrating the price getting to 20,000, 25,000, they didn't realize that this is going to be the most difficult year for Bitcoin. Now in April, May, we've just entered May, we see late night comedians attacking it. Bill Maher, I think his name is, I'm not familiar with your comedians, came out strongly. Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger came out strongly yesterday. Um, the banks attack it the one day and they praise it the next day because they're trying to be on the middle ground. They don't want to lose high net worth investors. Um, they would like it to fail ultimately. And of course, governments are going to attack it, saying CDBCs are just better. People are coming out from the woodwork, making statements like it uses too much energy, it's bad for the environment. Listen, there's a big move now to move Bitcoin mining to the Nordic countries and use clean hydropower. Get some of the mining away from China, which is also good for decentralization. And maintain the hash rate while just spreading it around. Some Chinese miners went offline the other day, or a couple of weeks back. People were then attacking the hash rate, but these miners came back on. There was a maintenance issue. So it's just fake news left, right, and center. And I predicted this. I predicted this in January 2021 while everyone was celebrating the price. My predictions on getting to 50, 60,000, I think stock to flow is the most accurate model out there. It's been scarily accurate up until now, and if it continues to be that accurate, we're in for a hell of a ride. But the attacks are just going to step up. You're going to see the mainstream news attack Bitcoin. You're going to see thought leaders, professors, and I think celebrities in a big way. Celebrities are going to crawl out of the woodwork, right? I'll talk a bit more about that in detail in a future video. It's going to be a dangerous thing to talk about because they don't like anyone talking about that. But we'll see. We'll see where we get to. But Bitcoin is in for its toughest year since it was born. 2008, 2009, and I stand by that prediction in spite of the price being so high after the second halving. Remember, some of the attacks we had last year, they said it would die in March 2020 when coronavirus hit. It's very easy to forget this, right, if you don't keep track of it. Then they said, well, corona crisis is the perfect opportunity for any store of value to really suck in liquidity. Why isn't it doing it? Well, the reason is it waited for the halving and then it did it after that. They'll just find any excuse. They'll push it repeatedly. The environmental excuse kind of works for them because people immediately react to that. So you're going to see the environmental attack happen repeatedly, which is what Bill Maher did the other day. You're going to see that more and more in the mainstream news, unfortunately. It's just a fact of life.
Right, now let's get to the part you've been waiting for, especially if you've been following my videos for a while. What's going to happen next with Ethereum Bitcoin? I think there's two very important things here. I think that this Ethereum Bitcoin ratio still has plenty of upside, but in terms of spikes. So I don't think there's going to be a long-term 0.15. We're going to see something like these two peaks here, because you're going to get bullish sentiment supporting Ethereum, but it's going to be hard to sustain that because of Bitcoin's momentum, not necessarily because of anything wrong with Ethereum. Now, if it's the first time you're listening to my videos, you might say, well, what is this guy? Is he a Bitcoin guy or is he an Ethereum guy? Well, no, I like both. I felt that because Ethereum was undervalued when I started this journey, this is the opportunity I saw. I saw Ethereum at about $100. It went down to $80, if you'll remember. I saw that opportunity and I said, in an ideal portfolio, you want a bit of Ethereum and you want a bit of Bitcoin and maybe some altcoins. The cheapest way to get Bitcoin was don't even buy it at that 7,000. The cheapest way to get Bitcoin is actually to buy Ethereum. And I was right. As you can see here, you can get half a Bitcoin now for that $1,300 if you bought in there. There's less upside. It's going to be harder and harder for this now to go to 0.1. I think the best chance of this happening is when we get good news on Ethereum 2.0 and we get one or two really big announcements similar to what Cardano had the other day. That really wasn't big, but it was a significant announcement in the lifespan of Cardano. African country Ethiopia doing something with them. There's a lot of stuff in Africa happening with Cardano, but it will spike. I don't think we know. Nobody knows what the long-term Ethereum Bitcoin ratio is going to be. So if you started here with me, look at the journey we've been on. I'm now saying take some profit at 0.05. You're going to get a lot of Bitcoin than if you just paid cash for it, right? And then with the portion of the Ethereum that you bought for this trade, there should be a separate stash of Ethereum that you just keep. Because Ethereum is going to do very, very well. It's going to be the world's computer. So there's a portion that you should be ready for, and you might want to do a target 0.075, and if things really go well, we can get back to that 0.1. I'll explain in the next two segments why it's difficult to get to 0.1 and why it's also going to be difficult for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin, as some people are saying. Just because of the last few days we had some strength, now people are talking about the flippening. Once again, I think Ethereum will do very well. It's got a bright future ahead of it. But consider the following.
Let me tell you why it's going to be very difficult for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin. And here's the actual reason, right? I'm fully bullish on Ethereum. I like it more than any other smart contract platform because I like decentralization. Decentralization is the most important thing. I don't want to see Binance Smart Chain controlled by a company. I'm got nothing against Binance, right? They're big in my country. They're doing a lot of good stuff as well. But Ethereum seems to be the most decentralized. If I'm wrong, I'm willing to listen to arguments, and you always learn. You've got to be always open-minded. But the thing is, firstly, for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin where it is now, even after the performance of the last few days, it has to triple its market cap. And Bitcoin is not staying still. Bitcoin at about 1 trillion will continue if we keep going as per stock to flow. We're going to move to 2 trillion if stock to flow is correct, which is a massive number, but it just shows that if Ethereum even triples from here, it will still be then half. It will get to 1 trillion. Bitcoin could get to 2 trillion. That's the first thing. If you want my prediction on the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio, as I said, I think it can spike if Ethereum does very, very well and Bitcoin has just a dull period for whatever reasons, and that downward period could be bad news in the media. They're attacking it. Might be good for Ethereum, out of the limelight, no attacks, things like that. But let's say previously we thought $100,000 was really the number for Bitcoin. That was the number back in 2017 and for many years. And if you look at what people are predicting for Ethereum from a dollar value perspective, a lot of people are saying $10,000 now, right? Previously it was like 5,000, 7,000. Many people now are saying a 5-digit Ethereum. If Ethereum gets to that $10,000 and Bitcoin gets to 100, then Ethereum Bitcoin will be at 0.1. Very simple mathematics, right? But people aren't saying that anymore. People are maintaining the $10,000 prediction. Yes, the issuance is going to get lower, but there is no supply cap, and that's still a problem for me. But if Bitcoin now is more bullish according to stock to flow says, I think it's 240, Max Kaiser says 220, and then you get the guys crawling out of the woodwork, the same guys on YouTube who said, it's going to zero, Bitcoin will be overtaken by name a coin. Now suddenly these clowns are coming out with $300,000 and $400,000, right? It's all crap, and we don't do that. But it's very simple now. If you look at Bitcoin $200,000 and Ethereum getting to $10,000, Ethereum Bitcoin then goes back to 0.05. So it might spike higher than 0.05, and it might even spike to 0.1, in which case you need to be ready for that trade that we've all been waiting for if you've been following my videos for the last let's say 2 years, since early 2019. But what I am saying is that if you miss that trade, don't count on it necessarily going higher. The dynamics have changed. At 0.505, which we are at now, and if you jumped in when I started making my videos at 0.016, the bottom that I called, you're still going to do fantastically well. It's just that I don't know if we'll see 0.14 again. Bitcoin would really have to stand still while Ethereum really rockets, probably after the 2.0 launch, for us to break through that Ethereum Bitcoin ratio of 0.1. It could happen. If it happens, great, be ready for it, and you're really going to be able to take advantage of that ratio. If you're watching for the first time, just remember, I'm not saying sell all your Ethereum for Bitcoin. I'm saying that's the ticket to getting more Bitcoin cheaper, but you should diversify. You should absolutely keep some Ethereum because it might prove to be very, very valuable in the future. But generally, those are the two that I like more than anything else. I've started to like Cardano as well, but I've still got lots of questions. Remember, I made a video in 2019 when it was at 3 cents saying jump in as a speculative bet. I don't know if this thing's going to take off, but I think 3 cents for what it is, the academic approach, the scientific approach to the blockchain that they want to build, 3 cents is just, knowing what the crypto market is and how something like Dogecoin that has nothing going for it can spike. 3 cents Cardano was really cheap. So that was a video I made in 2019, and of course all those predictions came right. It'll break $1. So I'm saying, yeah, I think I'm a little bit more reserved on Ethereum Bitcoin, and I don't want to overcall it now. That's the only change I'm making, and I'm saying take some profit at 0.05 and just be ready for a spike. But if it does spike, I think it will be a spike, because I think Bitcoin is just surprising. Even people that follow stock to flow, we've been waiting for stock to flow to break, and it's just not breaking. So I think that 200,000 looks realistic, and I think that's because the institutional wave is just going to be stronger than we thought. If only institutions buy it and no retail, no man in the street like myself or you, it will still break through that 200. It'll break through easily. that demand will be more than enough. So it's looking actually really good for Bitcoin. And you know, the market is so fickle. The last few days, Ethereum's been doing well. That's why the ratio got to 0.05. And now already people are calling for the demise of Bitcoin and the flipping. We live in such a stupid civilization where on social media any idiot can overreact, and then you get all kinds of stupidity in the news. But that's just how it is. You have to look through it. You have to look past that and not be overly influenced, I guess, by any of that, right? So that's my feeling on that. Of course, you should close every Ripple position that you have, right? Don't be fooled by this Ripple spike. You know my views on Ripple. I look down on it. Almost forgot to mention, if Cardano gets to Ethereum's market cap today, Ethereum I think hit $330 billion market cap. Cardano is way off that. I think it's about 40. So just doing that rough calculation in my head, Cardano could go times 8 from here. So $1.30, you're talking $9. Let's just round it up, $10 Cardano. If it gets to Ethereum's market cap that Ethereum has achieved today, the 1st of May. And can it happen? Well, it could happen if the network is proven to scale, it's proven to be decentralized, so people trust it. And we see a lot of use cases. Now, they just announced last week something that's significant but small. We shouldn't make too much out of it, but a use case in Ethiopia where academic records and thus obviously identities, because you need an identity associated with the academic record, stored on the Cardano blockchain in Ethiopia. And if they start racking those up more and more, I think it will be a strong contender. The decentralization issue, I hear so many conflicting arguments. I hear some people say that even though Ethereum strives for decentralization, and I believe it has done that the most, you've got the mining pools, and then going forward you'll have the staking pools. Cardano, I think, will be the same with the staking pools, but obviously the Cardano fans try to say that it's more decentralized. So I'm doing research into this, and I'll let you know in a future video. But that remains to be seen. I think decentralization is important. People will trust the blockchain out of those two that's more decentralized. But so just to add to what I've said earlier, I still think just looking at market cap, very simple mathematics. If Cardano can get to the market cap that Ethereum has today, and Ethereum is not done, the entire crypto market's not done, 2.0 is going to go live, then Cardano will be around $8 or $9. That's just a simple mathematic calculation. So if you load it up at 3 cents when I told you to in late 2019, very good bet to actually hold. I hope you're holding it, right? So to recap, I think it's going to be extremely difficult for Ethereum to get to 0.1, certainly to 0.14, and stay there for a long period of time. You may have spikes, but you're going to have to watch it to really make that trade. So that's the one thing I'm changing from the last time. Number two, I think further pressure will come from the fact that there are so many competitors to Ethereum now, which we didn't really anticipate 2 years or even a year ago. Polkadot, Cardano really surprised us over the last 6 months. Some might say Binance Smart Chain, but that's controlled by a company, and we don't really like that. But you can't write them off. They're going to be there. They're not going anywhere. Binance is a pretty large organization, if you think about it. And number three, I think that until 2.0 launches, there's another invisible barrier, hurdle to clear that Ethereum hasn't. So I think that while all my predictions from the last 2 years have come true, if you followed my advice and you were waiting to ride the Ethereum Bitcoin wave, you entered at about 0.16 or even 0.02, buying Ethereum to trade for Bitcoin when Bitcoin gets stronger. And get more Bitcoin for your dollar or for your rand or for your pound or euro. I think you should close a position at 0.05, which is where we are now. With 0.05, basically 20 ether can be traded for 1 Bitcoin. And if you followed my advice and you bought at $133, you can use my equations. You're getting Bitcoin effectively for $2,600. I said $1,300, but that's if it gets to 0.1. That's still, come on, that's a hell of a price. $2,600, and we're almost at 60. So you won't go wrong there, but not all. It could still spike to 0.1. So do not close the entire position, is what I'm saying. Just a piece of it.